All right. Let's call this meeting to order. It's 3 o'clock, and I know we've got to get on the floor at 4 o'clock. Just quickly for members of the committee and others that may be interested, I have met with I have met with the subcommittee chairs to talk about their budgets. Basically, there are very few changes from last year's budget. This is first action for the Senate. We don't have an LBR because the JLBC, the Joint Legislative Budget Committee, never came to an agreement on what the total spending would be. So we have set what we're calling the base level funding. And so all the figures you're going to see are going to be based on the base level. If you'll see in your packets, it's got base up there, and that lets you know what the action is going to be over last year. Also, I will say that the only increase that should be in there is $20 million that we are going to allocate to the health insurance fund. Those are for additional expenses to help with the health insurance costs for the state. But most everything else is pretty vanilla at this point. Obviously, we don't know what our budget's going to be for next year. We won't set numbers until we get closer to the deadline, sine die. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. I'll call on each of the subcommittees to explain their budgets tomorrow. My plan is to just do a basic worksheet, as I usually do, in front of the chamber to go over where everything is in general and take questions from all the members. And then we can cover those at that time. You will note that there may be some drastic changes of, one-time deletions from funds, all the capital expense funds and other special funds that we put in for agencies last year. Those have been pulled out of the budget. So if you see a big drop from year to year, it's usually because these were non-recurring funds that were taken out. Sometimes it's obviously based on vacancies too that have been removed, as we always do in the LBR or in that process of getting ready for LBR. But big drops are going to be usually some capital expense funds that fell out of the budget for next year. So with that being said, unless there are questions at this point, I will call on Senator Parks. Senator Parks, are you here? Yes, Senator Parks, you are recognized to explain Subcommittee 2 bills.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you would look at that, based on what the chairman just mentioned, if you will notice, all the one-time money has been dropped out. The only increase that you do see is the insurance increase. And I'm happy to entertain any questions that you might have.
And before I entertain questions, 2 other comments in general. One, if you want to take up your bills in block, you can. And I think that may be what Senator Parks is proposing to do here, is take these up in block. You'll see that she's got IHL and various budgets within the IHL.
And I apologize for that.
That's okay. I just want to make sure
take those up in block if
everybody knew what you were doing here. Any questions on the IHL budgets? And that includes subsidiary programs, ag research, MAFIS, co-ops, forest and wildlife, veterinary school, financial aid, and UMMC. No questions. Senator, your motion?
Motion title sufficient to pass.
Actually, motion to take them up in block. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Now the motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator. Next, I'll call on Senator Frazier for the community colleges and MDES as well. 3015, 16, and 17.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll take these up in a block.
Anybody want to set any of these aside? Senator McCon, you want to set one aside? Okay, we'll set aside 3017. And with that exception, Senator Frazier's motion is to take up 15 and 16 in block. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. You're recognized, Senator Frazier.
Right, the first budget is the Community College Board budget. LBR is recommending $98 million, overall decrease of $35 million due to the following reasons. They had non-recurring funds to take care of different projects on community college campuses. And so that accounts for the decrease in budget as we see it. That $34 million is a one-time non-recurring hit they take as a result of money they received last session. Any questions on that budget?
Any questions on 3015 or 3016? Seeing none, Senator Frazier, your motion.
Title sufficient to pass.
Motion title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. Now on the 3017, Senator Frazier, you recognize.
Sure, 3017. This is the budget for Mississippi Department of Security Commission. LBR is recommending $137 million for the budget overall decrease of $12 million, 8.28% decrease in their budget. And that's due to non-recurrent money that we allocated to them last session. And also there will be a decrease in salaries by deleting some pins and also different things they had last year. But they're also requesting an additional $1.2 million for salary progressions as that's a 5% increase in that. And also in that budget, we have the Office of Workforce Development. In that particular budget, LBR is recommending $38 million, with an overall decrease of $74 million, a 68% decrease from last session. And that's because they received some coronavirus state funding last year that won't be allocated to them again this year. And they are also requesting additional money for general support of $1.3 million for the general fund, and also $9 million for career coaches that have been very successful during this past year. And also they're looking at additional money, $5 million for information management and financial tracking system. Are there any questions?
Any questions, Senator Frazier? Seeing none, motion, Senator.
Title sufficient, do pass.
Motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Record Senator McCon is voting, not voting. Next is Subcommittee 4. I'll call on Senator Wiggins to explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My motion, we have 3018, 3019, 3020, Ethics Commission, Judicial Performance and Public Safety. My motion would be we take these up in block.
Senator moves to take these up in block. Is there any senator that wishes to set one aside? Seeing none, the motion to take up in block. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator, you're recognized.
Thank you. Senate action is 267,453,055. The bulk of that is the Department of Public Safety, which is 266,010,553. On Department of Public Safety, as the chairman said, remove the capital expense fund. 417,960 is for the health insurance. And then we are, excuse me, including a reappropriation of 6.2 million for addressing the forensics case backlog, driver services, computer system at 5.6 million. The forensics was 432,000. And then driver services bureau to upgrade and maintain the computer system of 166,000, which represents 30,464,000 less than the LBR. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Are there questions on those three budgets? Seeing none.
Title sufficient, do pass, Mr.
The motion
Chairman.
is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator Wiggins. Next is Subcommittee 6, Senator Hill. I don't believe she's here. This is Department of Mental Health. And I will explain that budget. Senate action is general funds, 234,534,597. That's an increase of 328,343 in general funds. Also some special fund increase of 957,847. The total amount of Senate action, 662,245,167. And let me just check and see, since Senator Hill's not here, if there are any special notes on mental health. No, nothing out of the ordinary. But anyway, that's final action on Senate Bill 3021. Any questions on Department of Mental Health? Seeing none, Senator Polk, your motion. Motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator Branning. Now Subcommittee 7, I recognize you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My motion is going to be that we take up Senate Bill 3022 and 3023 in block, please.
Anybody want to set either of these aside? Motion to take them up in block. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator Branning. You're recognized to explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 3022 is for the State Aid Road Construction Office, and the Senate action on this will be $209,940,933. The change is due to vacancies and then the health insurance increase. And then on the Tennessee Tom Beebe Waterway Development Authority, the Senate action will be $507,140, a change of $540 due to health insurance increases. Happy to answer any questions. Otherwise, the motion is title sufficient to pass.
Any questions on State Aid Road Construction or Tennessee Tom Beebe Waterway Development Authority? Seeing none, the senator's motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Those bills will be reported. Next, Subcommittee 8, I'll recognize Senator Norwood to explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to take up all these in blocks.
Senators
No
move to take them all up in block. Does anyone want to set several budgets, 3024 through 3032? Does anyone want to set any of these aside? Seeing none, motion to take them up in block. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator Norwood, you're recognized.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have Senate Bill 3024 Architecture Board, all special fund. Senate action is 358,782. Senate 3025 Funeral Service Board. Senate action is 307,706. Geologist Board and registered professionals. Senate Bill 3026. 140838 is the Senate action. Massage Therapist Board 3027 Senate Bill. The Senate action is 192,736. The Motor Vehicle Commission, Senate Bill number 3028. Senate action is 370678. Professional Counselors and Board of Examiners for License, Senate Bill 3029. The Senate action is 277256. Public Accountants Board, Senate Bill 3030. Senate action is 731018. Senate Bill 3031, Public Contractors Board. The Senate action is 4223487. Senate Bill 3032, Veterinary Examiners Board. Senate action is 20296. Mr. Chairman, the only changes in the Senate action was the increase, really there was in the insurance.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Norwood. Does anyone have any questions for Senator Norwood on those 9 bills? Seeing none,
No
Senator.
question. No question. Title sufficient to pass.
Senator's motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator Norwood. Next is Subcommittee 10, Senator Parker. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Make a motion to take these 3 items up in block.
Does anyone wish to set any of these three budgets aside? Seeing none, the motion to take them up in block. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a small group originating on the Senate from Subcommittee 10. The first is the Board of Chiropractors, which is level funding. There's no change in health because there's not an executive director. They use a management company. Dental examiners, there are a small increase in health of 2,160 from last year. Besides that, they are level funded at 1,159,742. Pharmacy Board is a small increase of 4,590 in health insurance, but a large reduction of 388,780 due to the completion of a move. And so they actually are down from last year to 3,834,292. That's a brief explanation. Yield for any questions.
Thank you, Senator Parker. I've got one I'll take up on a deficit in a little bit on dental examiners too. I don't know if you and I have spoken about that, but it's got nothing to do with next year's budget. But any questions from Senator Parker? If not, your motion.
Title sufficient.
Motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Those bills will be reported. Next, Subcommittee 11. I will recognize Senator Delano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to take up Senate Bill 3036, 3037, 3038, 3039, and 3040 in block. And we'd like to be recognized to explain.
Motion is to take those items up in block. Does any senator wish to set aside an item? 36 through 40. Seeing none, the motion take them up in block. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator Delano, you are recognized to take them
Thank you,
up in
Mr.
block.
Chairman. This is the Department of Agriculture, and I will note that we did level funding for the Department of Agriculture for first action in the Senate. That includes the Beaver Control Board, the County Livestock Show, the Dixie National Livestock Show. We also have the Animal Board the Board of Animal Health that's included in this budget. Again, these are all going to be level funded. Department of Corrections is 3039. Again, level funding. We did have some ARPA money that dropped out of the Department of Corrections. And likewise, for the Department of Emergency Management, we did have level funding there and had about 2.5 million that dropped out in ARPA funds. So the total for this subcommittee for Senate action is going to be $946,194,253, with the delta being the difference between first action and our estimate of being $28,725,005 or $358 in the negative, and a lot of that is the ARPA money that's dropped out. That's an explanation of those committees. If there's any questions, I'll yield.
Any questions for Senator Delano?
And if there are no other questions, I'd ask for title sufficient to pass.
Motion is title sufficient to pass. Senator Williams, do you have a question? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Those bills be reported. Next, Subcommittee 13, Senator Williams, I recognize you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion that we take up Senate Bills 3041, 3042, 3043, 3044, 3044, and 3045 in bulk and be allowed to explain.
Senators move to take those up in block. Does anyone want to set one aside? Senator DeBar? We'll set aside Senate Bill 3044. Any others need to be set aside? Seeing none, all other bills to be taken up in block. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator Williams, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 3041 is a gaming commission. The Senate action on it is $10,541,989, an increase of $28,890 for healthcare. 3042, two components. The information technology component is $47,530,061, an increase of $30,780, again for healthcare. The wireless commission, also in Senate Bill 3042, is $11,051,853, an increase of $21,60 for healthcare. 3043 is a personnel board, $4,917,078, an increase of $11,610 for healthcare. Senate Bill 3045, the first part's a Veterans Affairs Board,
$8,659,744, an increase of $15,390 for healthcare. Veterans Affairs, the State Veterans Home System is $62,664,547, an increase of $79,920, also for healthcare. I'll yield for questions.
Any questions of Senator Williams?
No questions. Title sufficient, do pass.
Motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Now, Senator, back to 3044.
3044 is a military department. It is a total Senate action of $159,571,912, an increase of $220,590 for healthcare. I will yield for any questions.
Any questions, Senator Williams? Seeing none.
Title sufficient, do pass.
The motion is title sufficient, do pass. All in favor, say aye. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator DeBar needs to be recorded as not voting. Thank you, Senator Williams. Next, Subcommittee 14, Senator Michelle, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that we take up the following items in block: Senate Bill 3046, 3047, 3048, 3049, 3050, 3051, and 3052. And would like to be recognized to explain them.
Senators moved to take those items up in block. Does anyone wish to set one aside? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Senator, you're recognized to explain the bills.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 3046, Department of Audit. It has a $34,830 health increase. Senate action is 8.952 million. The Department of Revenue has the increase for health insurance of approximately $148,000. And also equipment upgrades. There's funding in there for the Cannabis Act, operational expenses, the ABC Liquor Distribution Center, third-party operator. The homestead exemption reimbursement is $92 million in funding. The license tag commission is $6 million. It's lower because we won't have to buy any new tags until 2029. That's lower than last year's appropriation. As you know, we got new tags this year. Secretary of State, Senate Bill 3048 is about $266,000 in health insurance increases and has a reverse repealer in it. Board of Tax Appeals is funded at $649,191, includes health insurance increases and a reverse repealer. The Workers' Compensation Commission, Senate Bill 3050 is at $6,057,624, includes an increase in health insurance, has a reverse repealer. It's important that y'all know that that building is now working without any air conditioning whatsoever. We gave them money in the ARPA funding, and the Department of Finance is working on getting them some working air conditioning. They're working with box fans. We may be looking at having to move that agency out of that building for the work to be done. Treasury, Senate Bill 3051, the health insurance increase, LBR at 6.18 million. And the Treasury debt service, our debt service requested is $476,500,000. And our debt service for Treasury Department at $500,000 level funding. Be glad to yield any questions and move title sufficient do pass on these items, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any questions of Senator Michelle? Seeing none, the motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator Michelle. Those bills will be reported. And Senator Polk, you're recognized for Subcommittee 15 reports.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to take up items 3053, 3054, and 3055 in block.
Motion is to take up 3053, 54, and 55 in block. Does anyone wish to set any of those aside? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator. You're recognized for those three.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On these items, the increases in anything we did over base level funding was for the health insurance, as everyone else has done, except in the DFA state property. We have looking for an increase in the insurance premium that we'll have to pay there. So there's a slight increase there. It'll be about $22 million this year. If there are no questions, title sufficient do pass.
Any questions? Senator, make the motion. Title sufficient do pass. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator. You're recognized now for 3055.
3056, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, 3056. Thank you.
Thank you. This is the Development Authority budget, and it looks like a large increase. Of course, we're doing level funding plus the health insurance, but there are so many special funds there with the industries and all that we're moving in, that's quite a bit more that we have to approve to pass through. That's the reason for the large increase in their budget. If there are no questions, title sufficient to pass.
And Senator, this is for the major economic development projects that we've had.
Correct.
Okay. Any questions, Senator Polk? If not, the motion's been made. Title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator Polk. Now, moving on, you've got two other bills in your packet. Sorry. Oh, did I miss one? Yep. 3057. I apologize.
Okay.
Senator Polk, you're recognized again. Explain 3057.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 3057 is basically the Gulf Coast Restoration reappropriation fund. We're having to reappropriate $149,277,627 for projects that monies have not been spent on yet, but are pretty well obligated. So if there are no questions, title sufficient to pass, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions? Motion from Senator Polk is title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator Polk. Now, Senator Polk, I'm going to recognize you again to explain Senate Bill 3058.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Senate Bill 3058 is the ever non-ending ARPA bill. As you know, 2 years ago, we did some really good things in Mississippi with 1.8 billion in ARPA funds. And believe it or not, we found enough money through the federal government's help that our agencies have not been able to spend it all in 2 years. And I think we maybe have found that point where we know where their movement is. But anyway, we have to reappropriate each year any funds not spent so we can make sure that they have those funds that we obligated 2 years ago for them to be able to spend. You should have in the bill there what everything is for, and I can verbally tell you if you need me to. But if there are no questions, Mr. Chairman, move title sufficient to pass.
Anybody have questions? Senator Delano, you are recognized for a question.
I know you said that these were just reappropriations, Mr. Chairman. Are there any additional dollars that will be coming back for a new appropriation to either plus up some of these existing programs, or is the money all accounted for?
We're going to have probably around 140 million that will not be able to be used by the agencies we gave it to. We're still trying to get to a basic good number there. As soon as we do, I think you'll be seeing a recommendation of where to put those funds.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Senator Delano. Are there other questions? Seeing, hearing none. Senator Polk, your motion.
Title sufficient to pass.
Motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. Finally, Senate Bill 3059. This is some smaller deficits. These are mostly special funds, one capital expense fund. One of these is for $57,000 to the cosmetology board, and it includes primarily money for some compensation. Again, all special funds, they're being paid for this, but Tennessee's cosmetology licensing center burned down. And so the cosmetologist and a lot of these people came across the state line, did their cosmetology testing. They were paid for it. This just gives them the authority to spend those special funds to take care of that. It does include some additional IT security for them. And so they had to, and some additional expenses due to the additional testing that they had to do. But again, all that's going to be paid for with special funds that they generated through the cosmetology fees. Secondly is the dental examiners board. That's the one I mentioned with Senator Parker a while ago, and they are in the middle of changing their office space, and they've got to go to a new location starting July 1. They need to some advance money, again, special funds for their office space relocation and for their new licensing system that's going into a place. Section 3 is for the health department. As most of you know, there's ongoing litigation on the Jackson water system, and this is capital expense funds of $2.772 million, $10 for payment of counsel and other litigation costs related to the Jackson water litigation. And finally is the Wireless Communication Commission. This $3.9 million of special fund authority. These were funds that were delivered when last year we passed it. We put funds in the DFA account. They've moved these over now to wireless communications. And so they need the authority to spend these special funds. That's what the bill does. I will yield for any questions. Questions, Senator Wiggins?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On section 3,
Yes.
I guess I'm having a hard time keeping up. That money's going to the Department of Health to defend a lawsuit by the city of Jackson?
Yes.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, it could, it's not, it's a lawsuit against the state.
Or what?
For defense of the lawsuit that was filed. And I'm trying to remember who filed the lawsuit. We may have a sheet
The
on
bill
that.
says water litigation.
Yep.
Is that?
It's for the Jackson water system.
uh,
I will get you the details on who filed the suit. This came up last year, and this is, I think we funded some of this last year too, but I'll be happy to get you
I'm just.
the breakdown of the lawsuit.
Last question. I'm just curious why the city of why the state is a defendant in this.
I will, the state attorney general may not, and others in the Department of Health may not want to know
Okay.
all the details. I'm sure a lot of it's public anyway, but some of that may be kind of executive session items for them to deal with as it relates to strategies and what their contentions are as to why they're not liable for this.
Okay, thank you.
I'll get you as much detail as I can, Senator Wiggins. Other questions? Motion is title sufficient to pass. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Before we leave and rise and report, if there are senators that either strongly want to or don't want to take up their bills tomorrow, this is half of our bills. We'll be getting in a few weeks the House bills that we have to take up. But if you subcommittee chairs, if you don't want to take them up tomorrow, or you have a strong feeling either way, let me know today, because I'll be happy to handle any bills that subcommittee chairs don't want to handle, but I'm happy for you to handle them tomorrow on the floor too, if you'd like. So I'll let you just give me a heads up on which way you want to go with that. Any other questions? If not, motion is to rise and report. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you.